Here we are at Morgan Park. It's round 5, so there's no surprise that everyone is talking about one thing, the championship. With plenty of points up for grabs this weekend, lots of tight battles, there's certainly some tension up and down the paddock.
It's motorcycle racing, there's always going to be tension in the pits. None of us riders really enjoy each other's company. Well, I don't enjoy a lot of riders' company at the moment. I think it goes vice versa. So, yeah, I'm just here to do my job. I'm here to get as many points as I can. And I'm not in motorcycle racing to make friends.
Oh, Falzon shoves it down the inside of Wayne Maxwell. The fireworks have started already. Corey Turner is up into second place.
That is an incredible ride by Corey Turner. He is coming good towards the end of the race.
Oh, no! Herfoss has gone down. That's going to be his first DNF for, in living memory in the Superbike class in ASBK.
Bugden goes through.
Oh, Bugden went up the inside of Corey Turner, lost the front.
Welcome to round 6 of the Yamaha Motor Finance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul Pirelli. I'm Emma Francesco, joined by Steve Martin. We've already had 5 exciting rounds around Oz. We land right here at the iconic Sydney Motorsport Park. With only 2 rounds remaining, I'm happy to say that it is down to the wire when we talk about that championship. And Steve, after a nail-biting Morgan Park, it is Wayne Maxwell that leads the way, but only by 5 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty amazing race up there at Morgan Park. We didn't think going into that round that Wayne Maxwell would come away the victor, but unfortunately for Troy Herfoss, the man that we thought would win the race, he had a DNF, which allowed Wayne, with his great riding, to get through to the lead of the championship. Robbie Bugden also had a fantastic chance at victory up there, but he had a crash as well, so unfortunately for him, he still sits 3rd in the championship.
But not too far behind, don't forget, we've got Daniel Falzon very hungry, as is Josh Waters. He's sitting in 5th position, so still plenty of contenders for that 2017 championship. Speaking of which, I believe that you won your championship ride here, Steve.
Yeah, I do. I remember 1999, I got a pole and 2 wins and won my first Australian Superbike Championship, so this track means a lot to me.
Well, seeing as you have so many memories at this track, Steve, it seemed only fair that we take the tour around with you. So let's take a ride around this track with our very own Steve Martin.
Sydney Motorsport Park is one of the most exciting tracks that we visit on the Australian Superbike circuit. The riders find it very difficult with its 12 turns and 3.9 kilometres of bitumen, make it a really hard track for the riders to conquer. So this is where the action really starts. There'll be guys on the inside and on the outside vying for that important run up to turn 4. Corner speed and edge grip, really critical coming out of turn 4 because the guy who carries the most might just be able to slip up the inside into 5 when things get desperate. There's definitely opportunities to make a pass through 6 and 7 if you can. But it's corners like this, YMI Hill, that sort the boys out from the men. The final complex here at Sydney Motorsport Park is very important for a couple of reasons. Firstly, there's still overtaking opportunities to be had, so you can't take any rest yet. But this last turn right here determines your top speed down the straight and also if you see that checkered flag, first or not.
Thank you to Steve Martin. Great to see the track from an absolute racing legend, one of the faces of ASBK. We have plenty in store for you today. Make sure you stick with us. We're going to take a very short break. Straight after this, it is Motul Supersport race number 2.
It's a really exciting time in the Australian Superbike paddock for me, because everywhere you go up and down pit lane now, there's Australian champions and world champions. They just seem to be everywhere. And they're here for good reason, because their offspring are trying to follow in their father's footsteps.
Basically, all I ever want to do is ride motocross, you know. It's all about jumps and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, I got influence. We had a Motul R3 sitting in the garage, and then next minute, you know, we're out riding it. And actually, my first race, I ended up rocking up to do a practice day as a race meeting, and that's where it all started.
Well, Wayne Maxwell was a bike that he started racing on, and he still had it. He said, why don't you give Al a go on this? So that's what happened.
Well, I was very fortunate. I came into a GP at 91, walked into bike because Yamaha says, how about sponsoring me for the weekend, and they gave me a hand. Came back years later and rode ASBK back in the day, and I really enjoy coming here. It's, you know, we've always been well looked after. We always had a lot of fun here.
They do an awesome job over here. Yeah, really enjoying it, just learning everything. It's pretty cool.
Well, about a year or so ago, I never really rode a road bike, and I think I just got a metric at 80 and just had to ride at Morgan Park. And, you know, from just then on, that's all I thought about, I guess. I just loved it.
It's a strange one. I mean, Ollie's always ridden a bike, but to see him here now racing the 300 Championship at the ASBK is pretty cool, especially as I have to be here anyway with the Desmond Sport Ducati team. Ollie coming along racing as well. That brings Kim and actually Abby about here today as well. So, you know, our life is bikes, and that's where we're at, mate.
Hanging out with Ollie, I just realised that he's doing a lot of road racing, so it must be fun because he's enjoying it. And I ended up buying a road bike off of Brock Pearson, another one of our friends, and then we went riding.
Michael's involved in it now and riding a superbike, and they're doing well.
We started trail bike riding when I was about 7 or 8. Yeah, always had the photos up in the house and knew we rode bikes, raced bikes, and yeah, started racing dirt track and it made the change to road race, and he's been a great help, been here, mentoring me, so it's been good.
Well, there's a lot of good stories in that bunch, and the one thing that I can take away from it is this, that when one chapter finishes, a new story always begins.
Getting ready now for Motul Supersport race number 2 here at the penultimate round of the championship. After this weekend, there is only 51 points up for grabs, and Ted Collins comes into this round with a 68-point lead over Mason Coote and 76 points over Tom Taparis in the race for the championship. Could very well wrap it up here this weekend at Sydney Motorsport Park as the riders make their way out onto the grid. Let's have a look at the highlights of race number 1. As you can see, Tom Taparis very keen to get the bike underway, jumped the start and then got it sideways and went backwards off the line. But it was our pole sitter Mark Chiodo that finally got a fantastic start and led the field around through turn 1. He's been trying to do this all year, and finally it's all come together here at Sydney Motorsport Park for him. But Aaron Morris, first outing in the championship in 2017 there on bike number 14, was extremely strong, as we would expect at his home circuit, and got ahead of Sam Muldoon early on in the race. It wasn't long before he started to close in on our race leader, Mark Chiodo, but Sam Muldoon, the local man from Sutherland Shire, didn't want to be outdone as well, and he made a big move, which cost him a little bit in the end, and he ran wide and slipped back to 4th place. Unfortunately, his race would be over soon after. You can see him losing the front there around the dauntingly fast Yamaha Motorcycle Insurance corner. And unfortunately, his Kawasaki hit the wall, and that was the end of Sam Muldoon in Motul Supersport Race 1. The battle at the front continued, though, with Chiodo still managing to hold out a hard-charging Aaron Morris on board bike number 14, and Tom Taparis, who is still in with a shot of the championship on board the Cube Racing Kawasaki ZX6, very close behind. As we jump on board now with Tom Taparis, you can see the intensity of this battle. They are extremely close there, as Chiodo has to play second fiddle to the hard-charging man from Goulburn, who did have a 10-second jump start penalty to be applied at the end of the race, hanging over him at this stage. But it was Aaron Morris in his return to ASBK competition that went away at the front very cleanly to end up taking the win very comfortably over Mark Chiodo. who, although finished third place on the road, managed to take second place points, and once Tom Taparis' jump start penalty was applied, he went back to 5th place. Rounding out the podium though, and keeping his championship hopes alive, was Mason Coote, who got the better of Sam Condon right on the line in the battle of the Yamaha R6s. So Morris celebrated with a wheelie, and a good one at that, and will take up his position on the grid in race number 2, looking to make it a double here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Before we hear from the riders prior to Supersport Race 2, let's hear from the CEO of Motorcycling Australia, Peter Doyle, who's with Emma.
Perfect conditions here at Sydney Motorsport Park, and we love checking in with our CEO of Motorcycling Australia. Peter, congratulations on another successful weekend, but also a very successful 2017 with only one round left.
Yeah, been good. Championship classes are tightening up. Superbikes are getting real tight. So the business end of the season, 300s have been unbelievable all year. So yeah, no, it's been great. Looking forward to Phillip Island.
Thanks, Peter. Let's check in with some of our riders ahead of Motul Supersport race number 2. It's over to you, Tess.
Thanks, Emma. I'm here with Sam Condon. Sam, you're currently sitting 4th in the championship. One round left after today. How important is this race for you?
Yeah, look, it's pretty important. We're making steady and good steps each race, learning heaps this year and really enjoying doing it as well. So, yeah, looking forward to this race too and see what we can come away with.
Finished 4th last race. Are we aiming to get a podium this time round?
Look, fingers crossed. We had Tom Taparis had a jump start and Sam Muldoon fell off, so we were actually pretty lucky to get the 4th. But we had some good consistent pace, and hopefully we can challenge for another good placing. I'd just like to also say a shout out to Damon Reese. He broke his leg at Morgan Park, and I hope he's doing all right and recovering well.
Thanks, well, all the very best. Back to you, Em.
Thanks, Tess. Mason Coote, you've been very consistent this year. Obviously, at this stage, every point counts.
Yeah, absolutely. From here, we can't do a lot about Ted. You know, we're relying on him not scoring the points. But the key will be to keep in front of Tommy Taparis and hold down second. If Ted happens to make a mistake and we can take the fight to the final round, we will. But I'm not too concerned about that. It's individual races and see how we can go.
Originally a Perth boy, have you had much track time here?
I've raced here once before, 2013. So it's been a long time, but you know, to finish with a podium in the first race and be starting right up near the front, it's a relief to be on the pace up here.
Good luck, boys.
Thanks very much, Emma, and great to hear from Mason Coote there. And I think he summed it up perfectly, Steve. He doesn't need to worry about what Ted Collins is doing. He needs to worry about what Mason Coote is doing and try and get as many points as he can for the championship, because coming into this round, there was not much between himself and Tom Taparis in what looks to be now the battle for second place in the championship. Mark Yotto will start from pole position for the 4th time this year. Joining him on the front row of the grid, Tom Taparis, and our race 1 winner, Aaron Morris. Sam Muldoon, Mason Coote, and in 6th place, Ted Collins, our championship hopeful, looking to try and get a good start and stay out of trouble. Sam Condon, Chris Quinn and Hayden Spinks will make up row 3, with row 4, Nick Limington, Tom Bryden and Jordan Carlson. Tom Taparis, not that experienced in the Supersport category, only being his first year, but his mechanic this weekend, Marty Dowd, so much Supersport experience.
Yeah, and that certainly helps as we get ready to start race 2 for the weekend.
Looks like Tom was having a bit of a drama with his tear off there. He was about to tear them all off in one go as Sammy Phillips leaves the front row of the grid with the red flag. The starter's hands. A great start from Mark Yotto once again, but Tom Taparis has gone skywards, got forwards, and he's dropped back once again as they go through turn 1. In fact, Chris Quinn has gone around the outside of him. So Tom Taparis, the young rider from Goulburn, has left himself with a lot of work to do as they head down towards turn 2, Motul corner for the first time. And Aaron Morris up the inside of Kyoto to take the lead.
Yeah, what a great move by Aaron Morris up the inside into turn 2 here at Sydney Motorsport Park. He dominated in race 1. It looks like he's getting to the front a little bit earlier this time out. Ted Collins back down the pack a bit. He just needs to keep an eye on his nemesis, Mason Coote.
Well, what he needs to do too is stay out of trouble on these first and usually quite hectic laps as the field make their way around. There's Ted Collins just sitting, I think it was ahead of Jake Prudy and behind Jordan Carlson on board the 45 machine. Yeah. So keep your eye out for bike number 5, the Saint Unbreakable Suzuki GSX. Oh, Carlson, to see how out of shape he was just in front of Ted Collins there. Yeah, Ted Collins saw that and sort of thought, hey, I'm going to sit back a fraction as this massive field of Supersport machines makes their way back into the spectators' view here at Sydney Motorsport Park from the back of Corporate Hill. Looks like Tom Taparis has recovered somewhat, Steve, and is sitting in about 5th position at the moment on this first lap.
Yeah, absolutely. He struggled all weekend with the clutch on that ZX-R6. He just really seems to be able to not get it off the line cleanly, and that's hampering him in the race. He was fast through most of race 1 today, so let's hope that with this recovery and no jump start this time round, that Tom Taparis can catch up with Aaron Morris and make a race of it.
Well, as they come down to complete the first lap of this 12-lap journey, it is Aaron Morris that leads from Mark Chiodo and Sam Muldoon making a welcome return to the grid after that massive off at turn 8 in race number 1 earlier today. Mason Coote is in 4th place. Then it's Tom Taparis coming up the inside, so he's moved up into 4th place now as Tom Taparis. Oh, is that Sam Condon just running off the circuit there? I think he got a little bit keen into turn 2, couldn't quite get the bike turned in. Hopefully he can get back on track and continue what has been a strong performance here at his home track this weekend.
Look at the way Aaron Morris's Yamaha is moving around. He's giving it everything he's got. But think about the man out front, a double DNF from pole position last time out in Morgan Park. On the podium this morning, his confidence is back. We've got somebody down. I can't see the number on that.
That's the Causeway Kawasaki machine. Couldn't quite pick up the number, as you said, Steve, so we'll wait and see. I think, oh no, that was rider on bike number 486, just in case, and unfortunately that was 95, Jake Prudy, that had gone down as well, but just in case has crashed at turn 3. The rider is up, which is good news. That's not his first crash. He had a big crash in Darwin from memory as well.
Well, you know, when you ride like this, it's pretty difficult to stay on 2 wheels sometimes, and these boys out front, though, are showing us exactly how you should do it.
Well, Chiodo leads as they come through the final corners here at Sydney Motorsport Park. And as you mentioned, 4 pole positions for Mark Chiodo this year. He has been a rider that showed lightning speed, but unfortunately he has not had the season of racing that he would have liked. As we see Tom Taparis pull out of the slipstream of Aaron Morris. Can he get down the inside of Aaron Morris into turn 1? Now, I'll tell you, that is a big move for a man that knows this circuit like the back of his hand.
I mean, it's hard to think that the man there, number on 7, Tom Taparis, has had his first year, rookie year in Supersport class. It looks like he's been here forever.
And that was after only 1 year riding a Supersport 300 machine. Made his racing debut in March or April of last year, and has really come on very, very quickly. Of course, quite an accomplished motocross rider is Tom Taparis, and now he's moved up into 2nd position on board that Cube Racing Kawasaki. Let's go down to Emma in the pits, and I believe she's with Richard Taparis, Tom's dad.
I am indeed. Thanks, Phil. Look, he didn't get a good start yet again. I saw him shaking his head, but he's moving up the grid pretty quickly.
Yeah, he'll be man-possessed now, but unfortunately I have to take responsibility because I spoke him up at Darwin, at the Darwin round in the 2nd race. It was the worst, absolute worst start that he's ever had, and he's followed up today with 2 really poor starts, so I hope that he can progress forward and recover.
How is it taking a step back this week and no longer his mechanic?
Oh, I'm just a dad now. It's great. I can only do so much with a hammer and chisel. I can't progress any further mechanically with that, so I'm enjoying it, and Marty's a great guy.
Thanks, Richie.
Okay, thanks, Em.
Thanks, Emma. Great to hear from Richard Taparis there. Pretty handy motocross rider in himself, and I'm sure with Marty Dowd in charge, the hammer and chisel will be kept well and truly away from that motorcycle. Here we go with a replay of the start on board with Tom Taparis. You can see the bike goes skywards, he goes backwards, and a shake of the head there to voice his displeasure at the quality of that start. There goes Chris Quinn around the outside, looking at it from a different angle now. Look at Tom Taparis, almost trying to get a job as a stunt rider as the front road leaves him behind. Muldoon goes past, Mason Coote goes past, Ted Collins goes past as well. Looking back further in the grid now, we go to Chris Quinn, and Chris Quinn pulls to the outside there, as you'd expect from our most experienced Supersport campaigner. Well, just on that last lap was the first time in about 3 or 4 laps that we've actually seen Taparis and Aaron Morris lapping faster than our race leader, Mark Chiodo. Mark Chiodo did a 34.4. Tom Taparis and Aaron Morris just a 1/10 of a second faster. So they're just reeling him back in ever so slightly. The lead as they came across the start-finish line for Chiodo was 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a little bit of that in race 1 too. Marcus Chiodo took off out the front, and then the boys reeled him back. So let's hope that that's in his strategy and he can manage that gap. But it's certainly come down quite a bit last time through. Perhaps Chiodo made a small mistake.
Here's a great little battle here between Mick Heffron, the Northern Territorian on bike number 99, who was on the podium at the Northern Territory round at Hidden Valley. Did a great job up there. He's having a good battle with Martin Rees on board bike number 20, filling in for his brother Damon. Ryan Sellon on the 310 machine, and also Patrick Lee on board the 29 bike. As we go back to have a look at what our championship leader is up to. Ted Collins on board bike number 5. I think Carlson and Leamington have actually closed him down a fraction. And Ted Collins, he'd probably be more than happy just to finish inside the top 10 at this stage.
Well, you know what? He should have somebody down there in the pit right now telling him on his lap board what he needs to do to win this championship.
And you can guarantee that is exactly what the Next Gen boys will be doing, led ably by the man in charge, Wayne Hepburn.
Yeah, what they'll be doing is they'll be taking into account that Coote is in 4th position at the moment. They'll be calculating the points and then telling him, okay, you can finish 7th at the moment and win the championship, or 6th at the moment and win the championship. So that is his #1 goal. Let Jordan Carlson go if he can, but if Carlson is the man that he has to beat, he's going to have to try hard, because I'm sure he wants to wrap it up this time round here.
Well, if the champions, if they finished as they are now in the championship, Ted Collins would finish 61 points ahead of Mason Coote. So I'm sure that they've got the abacus out down there in the Next Gen Motorsport pit, as we see Sam Muldoon go down the inside of Mason Coote. And we know that Mason Coote will fight all the way to the end of the race, Steve. As we saw in Darwin, right down to the last lap, last quarter, he was desperate to try and get as many positions as he possibly could. Unfortunately, that time, it came back to bite him, but this time he's going to have an intense battle with Sam Muldoon on board bike number 70.
Absolutely. It's easy to forget that he didn't start the year in that team either. He was a privateer, got picked up by the ARC Racing team, and you know, with the belief that they put in him, he's turned himself into a great young rider.
And he's also improved incredibly on that bike as he got used to the different bike. It's still a Yamaha R6, but different suspension settings, and working with a very experienced crew led by Andy Offer from ARC Racing, who's had many years of World Supersport experience as well. And I think Taparis and Aaron Morris are starting to close down our early race leader, Mark Kyoto now. Let's have a look at the lap times as they come round to complete this lap. On the last lap, once again, Taparis and Morris were faster than Mark Kyoto as they come across the line now. 34.3 for Kyoto, 34.1 for Taparis, and a 34 flat for Aaron Morris. So they've just reeled him back in by a couple of tenths of a second.
Look at Morris. Morris is through on the inside. What a move, is he? No! Oh! That's big.
I think Morris was going down the inside. Taparis didn't actually see that he was there.
That was a
Morris
big
runs
one.
over to see how he is. Yeah, he says he's okay, but unfortunately that's the end of Tommy Taparis in this race, and Aaron Morris.
Let's have another look at that. Morris up the inside, he's there. Taparis doesn't see him. He starts to tip in. You can see Morris is completely out of brakes there. Taparis tips in, they hit, bang, over the top. That's never nice. And unfortunately, that's the end of the weekend for these two boys today. Not the way they wanted to finish off.
Well, and I think they were both pretty lucky to get out of that without any serious injury, because that could have been a lot more ugly than what it actually turned out. But final lap now for Mark Kyoto as he drives up the hill to come around through HI-TEC Batteries, and he will appear back into the view of the massive crowd. And I think everyone in the Supersport paddock's got their fingers crossed for Mark Kyoto. He's such a likeable guy, and to see him get another victory of the year will be sensational for him and the hard-working team of Jeff Windsor and Gary House that have unfortunately had a few bikes to repair this year, but that will all be forgotten now as he looks to come round and take his second victory of the year.
Absolutely. What a fantastic ride from Mark Kyoto. He really deserves this win, like you say, Phil. He's been, when he's not winning, he's down on the ground, but this weekend he's put that behind him, and with 4 pole positions and 2 wins for the year, possibly, you know, this will be the ride of his life. To get that pressure, that monkey off your back, Marcus Kyoto, what a job.
Well, he looks over his shoulder. There is no one in clear vision. There's Jeff Windsor giving him the big round of applause as they come across the line. He takes the checkered flag, Mark Kyoto, second win of the year for the Repsol Triumph rider. And what a fantastic win it was too. And I reckon there'll be a big smile on his face as he talks to Emma after this race. But there goes Ted Collins across the line. 263 points for the championship. The next best, Mason Coote on 200. That's 63 points. He only needed 52, Steve. So Ted Collins is the 2017 Motul Supersport champion, and what a season it has been for him. And also for the Next Gen Motorsports team, They have been absolutely unbelievable. 50% of round wins. It wasn't his today, though. Marchiotto took his second win of the season by 4.8 seconds over Sam Muldoon. His first podium of the season. Mason Coote still in the running for second place in the championship now with Tom Taparis as well. Chris Quinn, Ted Collins in 5th place, Sam Condon in 6th, Carlson, Limington, Bryden and Simon Rees rounds out the top 10.
Coming here after 4 years without racing here, it's pretty amazing to finish with a double podium. I didn't quite have the pace of the guys right at the front, but you know, they both fell into my lap and I'll take them any way I can at the moment. It's a credit to Consent to Go and Andy Offer from Arc Racing. They put together an amazing package for me and I can't thank them enough.
It's my first podium and it's my first year in ASBK, so it's been challenging, so it's great to finally get my first result. It's the end of the year, but better late than never. Yeah, I had a big crash in race 1 and made a mess of my bike, but the team got the spare bike going and I didn't have too much expectations for the race. And I just went out there, ran my own pace. The bike wasn't 100%, but yeah, I'm just so happy to come home second.
I'm really happy moving into Phillip Island in the last round with some solid results now, and yeah, carry the momentum.
Confirmation of the championship position sees Ted Collins, the 2017 Motul Supersport champion, with Mason Coote now jumping up to a clear second place ahead of Tom Taparis in 3rd, Sam Condon in 4th, and Marchiotto jumps into the top 5 with that strong result. Speaking of champions, let's go down to Emma, who's with our 2017 Motul Supersport champion.
Thanks, boys. Ted Collins, you are the champion for 2017. What is going through your head right now? Congratulations.
I don't know, you know, Next Gen Motorsports and traction control suspension have worked so hard all year and, you know, we were so consistent throughout the year and I can't thank them enough. It's just been unbelievable. You know, the goal at the start of the year was to win the championship, but for it to actually happen is a completely different story, you know. And, but my mum and my dad have helped me so much since I started, like, you know, when I was at the back of the pack, you know, there was no hope for me, but, you know, they stuck by me and we kept going and we got here in the end, so I can't thank them enough, and all my sponsors and everyone who helps me out, I can't thank them enough. It's just incredible.
You say you've been consistent. You've been absolutely dominating is what you've been doing, Ted.
Yeah, you know, we come into this weekend with such a good points lead that we didn't have to fight for the win, so we just did what we needed to do to get this, you know, so I'm just over the moon to be here.
Well done, Ted Collins, champion for 2017, boys.
The action is only just heating up here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Don't go too far away. Coming up after this break, the first race for the YMI Superbike class.
He's one very passionate man who's been building motorbikes since the age of 13. He's even competed in European and British championships and now has his very own race team. His name is Calvin Riley and his team is BC Performance Kawasaki.
Yeah, well, obviously I came into Australia 5 years ago. I think the sun, sea and sand got me hooked on Australia, and I've always been involved in motorcycle racing, so I had to do something when I got here, and starting a race team just fell into my hands, and here we are today, supported officially by Kawasaki and numerous sponsors keeping us on board. Yeah, I raced the British Championship and the European Championship. I've done a bit of racing over in Europe, so yeah, and I've had a bit of success over there, so I'm hopefully using that knowledge here to make my team successful. From my point of view, a rider, his job is much easier, even though you go through the stresses of trying to get a good result when you're on the bike and it's physical and stuff like that. Being a team manager, you've got to be everyone. So it's hard, it's definitely hard work, but it's something that I've really taken to and I've put all my efforts into. I'm fairly passionate about motor racing, so at the end of the day I enjoy it. You know, I enjoy going racing, and yes, it has been hard to get to where we are today, and it still is hard. You know, we're all looking for budgets. All teams are looking for budgets for next year. You know, so, and we're still working on next year, 2018. You never know your future, but you know, you can only keep pushing forward and doing the best you can. He's been around. You know, he's a seasoned racer, and he's a really good, true professional to work with. Funnily enough, me and Robbie raced against each other back in the UK a few years ago, so we actually know each other quite well. So we know our strengths and weaknesses. Hey, look, every rider is going through some serious pressure. All those top 5 guys, they're within 22 points. You know, that's probably closest I've ever seen any sort of domestic Superbike championship. And they're all going through their pressures differently, and they're all dealing with them differently. But Robbie is a true professional, and I'm really pleased with how he's dealing with it. And we're pushing forward. We're giving him every support we can, so he's got the best bike and he's in the best position to get the best result.
Best of luck to Calvin and the team for the rest of 2017.
The riders are making their way round the 3.9 kilometre version of Sydney Motorsport Park to take up their positions on the grid for the first of our YMI Superbike races here at the penultimate round of the championship. But before we get underway, let's go down to Emma and Tess, who are on the grid with some of our Superbike stars.
I am here with Glenn Allerton. Glenn, you did very well yesterday. How are the shoulders here, holding up?
Yeah, look, at the moment, yeah, I'm just happy to be on the front row of the grid. To qualify third's amazing, and you know, it's great to be back in the battle and actually competitive again. So yeah, the shoulders are still pretty sore, but you know, in a minute here we're going to have a lot of adrenaline flowing in the race. So just count on that to get me through, really.
And tell me, I mean, you're in a great position starting. Yeah. What do you think is going to be the most challenging part of the track?
Definitely the start is going to be really important, and you know, just making sure that you get away with the front group and then staying in some clear air, because everybody's so close in the lap time, so you just got to stay near the front.
All right, well, thanks, Glenn. All the very best. Over to you, Emma.
Thanks, Tess. Let's take 2 with Daniel Felson. Let's not harp on Morgan Park. Let's move forward, because I know you're one to bounce back. Let's talk about the bike, because I know you had to make quite a few changes to it and do a lot of work to it after Morgan Park.
Yeah, that's right. We're actually back on my #1 bike. I was lucky to not fall off on my best bike at Morgan Park. So we've got a very competitive package here. And I think that we've got the team behind us this weekend. We can produce a pretty good result. Qualifying 2 wasn't great yesterday, but I think we've got the speed to run right up front.
And not much of a break for you, because you're off to China tonight.
I am, but I'll think about China in about 3 hours' time when it's all over.
Good luck. Tess?
Thanks.
I'm here with Troy Herfoss. Troy, defending champion from last year. How's it all going?
It's been an interesting weekend for me, so really happy to be 5th on the grid. And making small adjustments to the bike as the weekend's going on, and we'll just have to wait and see. It's I don't know exactly what our race pace is like in comparison to the other guys, so it's getting really hot here, and this track's very temperamental to weather, so the conditions are going to change, and we'll just have to hang tight at the start of the race.
And what factors do you think are going to work in your favour?
I feel like in the hotter conditions I can get a bit more out of my bike. Yeah, the CBR 1000's working good. It's, you know, Brian's been fast all weekend. We managed to get up close to him on the grid, but he showed the potential of the bike as the weekend's gone on, and now it's time to go racing. So we just got to pull the pin, and hopefully we've got the pace to go with the leaders.
You can never discount Troy Herfoss, the reigning champion, come race day. Josh Waters will start from pole position with Wayne Maxwell and Glenn Allerton. Great to see him back in the top 3, starting from the front row of the grid. Row 2 will be Brian Starring, Troy Herfoss and Crew Halliday, who was pole position man last time out. Row 3 sees Daniel Falzon, Corey Turner and Matt Walters. Matt Walters' best qualifying performance of the year as well, so a good weekend for the local rider from Cessnock. Row 4 will be Josh Hook, Robbie Bugden and Michael Blair, with Row 5 Matt Harding, Al Phillips and Kyle Buckley in his return from injury. Row 6 sees Bo Beaton, Troy Gunther and Sloane Frost, with row 7 made up of Lachlan Eppes riding an old next-gen motorsport BMW 2014 model, Mitch Levy and our Western Australian Adam Senior. Row 8 is Brendan McIntyre on board his Suzuki, Trent Gibson on board his Yamaha and Aidan Coote on board a Kawasaki. Row 9 is Joel Rhodes, Nathan Spiteri and Rowan Smith, with the final row of the grid, Hamish McMurray and Ashley Fleming, another of our Western Australian visitors. It is going to be 14 laps of absolute mayhem, and we're getting ready for a start now as the flags will be cleared from the grid. We'll be ready to go racing. Revs rise and we're away. Great start from Josh Waters. Not the best start for Wayne Maxwell, but we've seen that a couple of times this year as well. And Brian Starring got a cracking start on board the Honda CBR SP2, the cranked protein machine, and he sits in about 2nd place as they run around. Oh, someone very tight on the inside of turn 1 there, kicking up the dust, but it is Josh Waters that leads from Starring. Glenn Allerton and Daniel Falzon's got a good start as well. Maxwell just got nerved sideways by, I think it was Crew Halliday as they made their way through turn 2, and he's lost a position to Crew Halliday as well.
Yeah, Josh Waters not going to have a lot of time to settle down because the pack is charging hard. Maxwell, it is, where's Maxwell gone? I think he's dropped back down the pack. Yeah, so once again, Maxwell, not with a brilliant start, but we know what he can do from there. He always works his way through. We just saw Adam Senior.
And it's also about consistency for Maxwell as Josh Hook's got the big leg out. Matt Walters also got a pretty good start as well, and he's had a strong first half lap. He's going to manage to get ahead of Corey Turner. If you look back through the pack.
I'll tell you what, though, it's a very promising start for Glenn Allerton. Really happy to see him up there. As one of the Kawasaki slips through. That looks like Matty Walters. Good job by him.
Yeah, the leading Kawasaki ahead of Robbie Buckley at the moment. I spoke to Glenn Allerton this morning. He said he'd only strung together 10 laps at a time in practice and qualifying over the weekend. So he doesn't know how his injured shoulder's going to be after 10 laps. But he said, I think the adrenaline will take over by then and I won't be too worried about what the shoulder's doing. And he's sitting in a very strong position. The thing I noticed too is I've known Glenn Allerton long enough to know he is dangerous when he has a big smile on his face. Yesterday after qualifying, he had that smile. Look out for him this weekend.
Absolutely. I still remember Phillip Island last year. He was absolutely phenomenal there, winning everything. And look at him now. He makes the move on Brian Starring, doesn't pull it off, but he's looking for a way past. That is menacing.
Well, you can see him come up the inside, and then Starring just closed the line on the late part of the entry into the corner. And Allerton wasn't able to get past Herfoss, sitting right on the back of Daniel Falzon as well as the field makes their way through. You can see Matt Harding on board bike number 96 having a good run there, just ahead of Cole Buckley back in 15th and 16th position. But this top lead group of riders, just the top three, just starting to eat themselves away by 0.7 of a second now.
Yeah, Maxwell is 1.5 seconds off the lead. You can see him there. There he is on the number 47 machine there, looking for a way past. And Herfoss, a great drive up the inside. He looks like he's going to nip up the inside. YMI Hill, good move by Herfoss. Pulled that off beautifully, just past Daniel Falzon. Will Falzon try to fight back? No.
Well, one of the strong points of the old Honda CBR, Steve, was its drive out of corners. Whatever Team Honda have done is they've managed to replicate that with the brand new CBR 1000 SP2, because this bike is only having its third round here this weekend, and every round as they get faster and faster starts to bring on a couple of more little teething problems with the new motorcycle, where it was a little bit different and the riders need to try and adapt to this new bike, which has got a lot more electronic enhancements than the previous model.
Well, absolutely. And look at that Yamaha down the straight and through goes Allerton. Definitely no speed issues there. The wonderful R1, great drive on the straight, but Brian Starring fights back.
Well, there was a classic example of the power and the drive of the Honda out of the corner.
Oh, no!
Oh, no. Looks like there's some problem. I thought I saw some smoke through turn 1 last time, and I thought, oh, maybe it was Starring getting the bike sideways.
Okay.
But I think Allerton has actually said, no, hang on a second.
Yeah, he has. He's put his hand up. He can see the smoke coming out. He's gone through there. Let's
watch this. There looks like there was a fraction of smoke coming out of the back of the bike as they came through there.
Oh,
Starring's pulled over and he is out of the race.
Oh, that is not good news for Brian Starring. He's only got one of those bikes too, because his spare bike is the old model.
And also too, the same thing I think happened to him in race number 1 in Queensland as well.
Oh, this is not what he needs. He needed to build his confidence up here. This was looking like a good weekend for him, but not to be. In the meantime, look at what's happening out front.
Josh Waters, a 1:29.941. That's faster than qualifying, I think, yesterday, wasn't it?
It is. They only got into the low 30s. 30.1 yesterday, 29.9. That is an impressive lap time, Phil.
On the first flying lap for Josh Waters. Well, he's not hanging around to see what everyone else is doing. I think we can safely say that. I think we can probably also safely say that he's got an SC0 in the back end of the Suzuki X-Star machine, as we see Josh Hook now making his way out onto the straight on board that McMartin Ducati, bike number 16. He's sitting in 7th position. Corey Turner's in 8th, Matt Walters in 9th, and Al Phillips. Good ride from Al Phillips on the Arnold's Fruit Market Apex Civil machine, currently rounding out the top 10.
So to put that into perspective, the outright lap record was set in 2013 by Robbie Bugden, and that was a 1:29.842, so they're right on lap record pace.
So Allerton has got Herfoss for company now. There's Corey Turner with Matt Walters and Al Phillips right behind him as well. But look at this 2nd, 3rd and 4th now. They've closed up, and Maxwell is looking ominous right behind Troy Herfoss now. Yes, Maxwell to me looks like he's trying to find a way past.
Absolutely. I mean, the main thing for Maxwell is to try and clear off from the #1 machine, Troy Herfoss. Herfoss has to do everything he can, but he can't afford to give away any more points, and he's made the move again. What a great move, Troy Herfoss. Does he pull it off this time? He gets great drive out of the HI-TEC Batteries corner, but you know, you've got to be pretty good to do that to Wayne Maxwell. They're back. Both of the guys are up now with Glenn Allerton. Of course, Allerton has got to be struggling for strength. You've got to think with those shoulder injuries.
He has, but I'm just wondering how much adrenaline there is pumping through his veins at the moment, which is providing countermeasures for the pain that he's currently feeling.
I'm guessing if he's looking at his lap board now, there's a lot of adrenaline there.
But he knows he's got 10 laps to go. But Falzon is also starting to close in on them as well, as this group of three makes their way. There goes Maxwell down into third place now, getting past Troy Herfoss as they come down into turn one. He's got to try and find a way past his teammate to Glenn Allerton. This is his home circuit, although Wayne Maxwell does have a lot of experience at this circuit as well, and is always
Look at
Herfoss.
Herfoss, what a great move up the inside there.
Tell us this morning he was having problems with corner entry, and Herfoss has just gone through two positions, both past of the Yamaha, both of the Yamaha riders. Falzon's also managed to get past Glenn Allerton as well, who I think may just got in a fraction wide.
No, either that or he got biffed up a bit there by the crew. Let's head down to M. Quick update with Brian Starring.
Yeah, guys, just down here with Brian. Tough luck. What happened?
Just another, same as the first race of the last round. A small mechanical here. It's normally so uncommon for us, but it's bitten us in the arse again. So anyway, a bit disappointing really, because I know I had good pace. Yeah, I know we've got a good race pace. Anyway, we'll have to make up for that with the next one.
Bounce back for the next one, mate.
Thanks.
There you go, you can hear Brian Starring's disappointment in his voice as we go back to the live action here at Sydney Motorsport Park, and it is his teammate Troy Herfoss taking up the running in second position, Wayne Maxwell in third, Falzon is up to fourth, Allerton is back to fifth place, but the man they probably need to keep their eye on at the moment is the man on the Pirelli shod McMartin Ducati, Josh Hook, who is up into seventh position and looking quite ominous.
Yeah, he is. Hookie's, you know, obviously that front tyre choice, trying the softer front tyre this morning, if he decided to go that way, worked well. But I know that after speaking to the team, that they reckon that they can't get any speed out of a new tyre. When it's got about 5, 6, 7 laps on it, that's when Hookie's at his best. And he's right on the back of that group now, and I'm sure he's thinking I'm going to have a go. But once again, look at Troy Herfoss. He is not giving up. Well, runs wide though.
Falzon just had a massive moment through turn one. You saw that Troy Herfoss ran in there very fast into the corner, but once again couldn't get the bike pulled up, Steve. That was the problem that he was telling us about this morning, that he's very fast into the corner, but he can't seem to get the right apex line, especially corners like turn two.
But what we are looking at here is the battle for the championship. There's 5 points between these two guys. It looks like, you know, the other guys are going to be vying for glory in the race wins, but in reality, those two guys out front in the championship, Herfoss is going to give it everything he's got to get past the man in front, number 47 there.
Well, as you mentioned, Maxwell came in with a 5-point lead over Troy Herfoss. Robbie Bugden is in third, but he's 21 points to the rear of these guys, and not actually factoring in this battle as well. Let's go down for another quick update from Emma.
Yeah, a bit of a different update. Just caught up with a great friend that stopped by, Greg Russ from Supercars, and I know you know a lot of guys out here as well.
This is a bit weird being on this side of the microphone, but it's hard to...
Hang on a sec, yeah.
No, you take it. It's hard to know who to barrack for, because I've known, you know, Glenn Allerton, Josh, heaps of them for years, so I sort of went around and can't play favourites on the grid, but it's so cool to see it healthy and great racing.
And just like our championship, yours is down to the wire as well.
Yeah, it is. Some good enduros coming up, which are going to be pivotal in the outcome, so this is kind of a weekend off before the four-wheel stuff starts in earnest.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, it's nice to see you.
Good to see Greg Rust coming on his weekend off to the motorcycle racing, isn't it?
Well, once you're a motorsport enthusiast, you are a motorsport enthusiast for life, Steve. And this is one of the most action-packed forms of motorsport that we have in this country. And you just saw a couple of overtaking manoeuvres in a few corners there. That would be unusual for Supercars to see that sort of stuff.
I'm not going there. But meanwhile, Troy Herfoss is leading the battle for second place. Let's not forget Josh Waters out front, wondering what's going on. The only man in the 30s, 30.7 last time round. He was something like 0.5, 0.6 quicker than the competition.
Look at Josh's mum having a kitten or so in the pits.
She spends a lot of time on the side of the racetrack doing this, and I mean, look at the lead that he's got now. He can pretty much wave to his mum on the way through.
Probably could. He's dad Michael's here as well this weekend, along with his wife Ginny and his little daughter as well. So a great weekend for the Waters clan at the moment. As we said, 5.5 second lead for Josh Waters as he comes through intermediate number 2 on lap 8.
What a fight back though by Troy Herfoss. We heard him on the grid at the start of this one saying he didn't sound as confident as normal. A few issues that he had to deal with, but he's a fighter and he's holding off the 2 Team Yamahas.
Well, it's the race, it's the adrenaline time, and the adrenaline's come to the fore. It doesn't matter if Troy Herfoss is racing a superbike
Maxwell's
or a push
through.
bike. He's going to give it his all, but Maxwell, who was been very fast at Sydney Motorsport Park in the past and had some really tight battles here to take race wins, has now gone up into second place. But Herfoss, that corner run in once again.
He's got to be wide.
He's wide. I was going to say, he would have been a miracle worker if he could keep that bike anywhere near the apex with the speed that he ran through, but he comes back on the inside, back up the inside of Wayne Maxwell. And Maxwell's probably just shaking his head thinking, what have I got to do to get ahead of Troy Herfoss?
Well, it's certainly nimble, the new Fireblade, that's for sure, and good on the brakes.
And also Glenn Allerton is closing in every time they have one of those little passing opportunities on each other. Glenn Allerton just gets that bike length or so closer, and Josh Hook is coming very quickly on board bike number 16 as well.
Here's a replay of Herfoss going through, running wide. Now, how did he get back in front from that point there? I do not know.
That was the
Here it goes. Drive
out of turn 2.
Stuffed it up the inside. What a nice manoeuvre. That's full commitment. Passing him, different matter.
Well, he's done a lot of laps lately, has Josh Hook. Did a lot of testing in Japan for the Suzuka 8-hour race, and didn't get a lot of seat time in the 8-hour race, but it's good to see him back in Australia and racing in the 2017 Yamaha Motor Finance Australian Superbike Championship and the YMI Superbike class as they come down now to complete 12 laps of this 14-lap race. So they're about to start their penultimate lap. Our leader, Josh Waters, is 4.9 seconds ahead of Troy Herfoss at the moment. He's just got to circulate around and bring it home. He's circulating around in flat 132s at the moment is Josh Waters, but these three are all sitting in the mid-131s. There is literally nothing between them in lap time, Steve.
No, I mean, it's going to happen now, but to me, it looks like Herfoss has really pulled the pin. He's stretching those guys out a little bit. He knows that this is lap 13 of 14 now, so he cannot hold anything back. No point trying to conserve that tyre anymore. Get everything you can out of it.
Well, and as we said, if he manages to finish in second position and Maxwell in third, he will take back a couple of points in the battle for the championship. There was 5 points difference between them as they came into this round. Oh, you can see how desperate he was to try and get up the inside. I think that was Nathan Spiteri on board bike number 78 around the back of the circuit. And Spiteri hopefully gets able to not hold up Wayne Maxwell and also Glenn Allerton. There goes Maxwell around the outside. Allerton up the inside. Hook around the inside as well. It doesn't look like he held them up too much, but Herfoss, he has really put it in this last lap and a half.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what sort of lap time he does do this time round. He has eked out a few tenths over the competition, which is what he definitely needs to do. He's riding very well for a man that said he wasn't overly comfortable on that bike around this circuit.
Just looking at top speeds on the last lap, fastest man at top speed was actually Josh Hook on the McMartin Panigale with 291 kilometres an hour. They come across the line to complete that last lap. Herfoss is a 131.7, Maxwell and Allerton 32.2. So I think Spiteri probably did hold them up a couple of times.
Watch Hookie. Hookie's got a good drive down. He's gone up the inside. It's going to do both of them. No, he's through. He's through. He's up the inside of Allerton. Hookie now is having a good... There's another back marker coming up.
I think that's Hamish McMurray on board bike number 37. There, it looks like they're safely past him as they come across the hill and down into Pirelli corner. Yep, they're all past him, but Hookie now has moved up into 4th place, right on the tail of Wayne Maxwell. Well, and I'll tell you what, Troy Herfoss will be hoping that Josh Hook can get past Maxwell, and that will give him a couple of more championship points advantage. In fact, that will take it down to 2 points if Hook can get up the inside.
You watch Hook into turn 9, into Suzuki, the Suzuki hairpin just after YMI Hill here. He's going to have a dive up the inside, but Maxwell will shut it down, but he's through on the inside. He's through it. He's given it everything. But he's wide. No, he's held it. Maxwell back through.
Maxwell is the master of those moves at that corner, but what about the run to the line? We just said on the last lap, Josh Hook was the fastest on board the McMartin Panigale. Can he get the slipstream and manage to draft past Wayne Maxwell as they come round through the final corners now? Josh Hook will be on his way to the start-finish line to take the checkered flag and his 3rd race win of the year, and a comfortable one at that for the Suzuki Team X car machine. There's his mum Julie giving him a big round of applause. He takes the win. Herfoss takes second place, 3 seconds behind, and Maxwell just gets there, 1/10 of a second ahead of Josh Hook, with Glenn Allison taking out 5th position. Falzon will take 6th, Crew Halliday in 7th, Robbie Bugden in 8th, Michael Blair, a great ride inside the top 10 in position number 9, and Corey Turner rounds out the top 10. Let's hear from our top 3. There with Emma.
I think we made a few wrong choices there after, maybe with the tyre and stuff, so we just didn't have the grip that we needed. So the bike was quite good, apart from a little bit of grip picking up the throttle, so we'll go back and reassess, and luckily we get another chance at it.
My bike's a mixture of mine and Brian's a mixture of mine and of his and mine, sorry. And I'm really sorry for Brian, because he's riding really strong this weekend, and I think he could have maybe been one of the only guys to challenge Josh, but it's just really bad luck for him. So, but thanks to the team for the hard work they put in on my side, and we're looking forward to race 2.
Again, like normal, huge thanks to my team Suzuki X-Star Australia. So that race was hard for me, even though it might have looked a little bit easy. There's things we can improve for race 2, so I just need to go back to the pit and try and make the bike a little bit better. And yeah, I'm just wrapped with that race though. To do the lap time I did was wow.
It's an absolute honour to be surrounded by some legends of the sport. Steve Martin, Troy Bayliss, Robbie Phillips, Sean Giles. Where to start, men? How about greatest memories or greatest achievements of all time?
Wow. That's a hard one. Like, I've been doing this for 40 years.
I think you need to let me start, Emma, because I guess for me, I mean, I've seen all of these guys race, and I know they've seen me, but for me, I guess that Robbie would have been the guy that we all strive towards, because he was the first guy that went overseas, and if it wasn't for him and guys like him that heading over, and we'd all be watching on SBS TV or something like that to just see how Robbie Phillips went. So he was probably the first guy that got us our passions ignited, really, to do what we did.
How does that make you feel?
Old.
Oh, you are, mate. We're all getting old.
Hey, I'll be 61 and a half next month.
And a half.
I remember racing 250 Proddies years ago in the early 90s, and walking past Team Kawasaki Australia, new to the sport, I was scared to even say hello to anyone. You'd walk past the garage and have a little look, and you'd want to go in and check it out, but too shy. Too shy to say hello to Robbie.
And I had a grumpy look on my face always, because I was concentrating on what I was doing, and I'm not the best looking bloke in the world to start with. So, he was probably scared of me. But I remember watching Troy at Baskerville on a 600 Kawasaki from Gavin Cosway, and I think you got pole, didn't you?
Possibly.
That was in '93, I think.
Yeah, Gav always built a good bike, and I love riding for Gav. But yeah, that's probably one of my first wins down there, I think. Yeah. 600s, love riding them, and Gav's a good guy.
They were good days, back when I first started, I actually had to find the money to go to Austria to do a round, and Mal Campbell and I pitched in together so we could go off to Austria to do the round of the World Championship, and that was in '88, I think. So we had a little bit of help I had a bit of help, or a lot of help from Kawasaki Australia here. And then, of course, the Kawasaki factory in Japan, because I was doing a lot of test riding with their Formula One bike over there. So they got me to go and do their round of the World Championship. And then I got a ride in New Zealand as well. So that was sort of the start of the World Championship for me.
How about you, Sean?
Yeah, many of early days, even my father used to take me to the bike races when I was a kid. And I remember when Robbie was riding for Mick Hone Suzuki back in the day, and going to Canberra, the street circuit there, and seeing him. We stayed in the same motel, so as a young kid, growing up and watching legends like that, and even to a couple of years ago racing against Robbie in the Island Classic. So we've had some good races and good memories watching Robbie.
Can anyone just talk quickly about the growth of ASBK?
Even just from last year, it's taken a massive turn. Even today, I've spoken to so many people today, out people catching the sun rays this morning, and everyone, the atmosphere is really nice, and there's so many manufacturers involved now, and I've never seen so many numbers on the grid. So I think it's definitely taken the right step.
Race 2 for the YMI Superbike class coming up a little bit later in the show. Don't go too far away. Coming up after the break, Yamaha R3 Cup and the ever-exciting HI-TEC Batteries Supersport 300 class.
Moto 3125 and the sidecars always deliver great racing action. We're fortunate enough to have them as some great categories, a part of the Yamaha Motor Finance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul Pirelli.
Essentially the Moto 3s are a 254 stroke, the 125s are a 125 two-stroke. And yeah, they're a great sort of entry-level class. They're all classes that have been on the World Championships. The 125s are sort of replaced by the Moto 3 category in the World Championship as a feeder to Moto 2 and Moto GP. As such, in Australia, it's great. You can start riding them at 13 years old, but then you can continue riding them until whenever you like. You know, late 40s, 50s, sort of thing like that. So it's great. The Moto 3 125 category, I guess, is generally in essence designed to bring on young riders and move them forward up into categories as they get a bit older, a bit more experience. They might move on to 600s, or overseas they would move to Moto 2 or Moto GP beyond that sort of thing. But yeah, it's a good class for developing riders for sure.
As most people know, sidecars are inherently unstable, and take a team of two, you can't get around the track without someone like Chrissy on the side doing the right thing. And it's all about balance, coordination and trust and intuitive knowledge of what each other's going to do. It's probably the only true team sport where you actually cannot communicate to each other, but you've got to trust each other imperatively.
As a passenger, we help steer the bike. So we are the counterweight basically. So we keep the top wheels down, we put the sable on the left-hand wheel so we can turn the corners, we put traction down so we can accelerate.
I can throw a bike into, say, turn 9 here, the hairpin, and Chrissy actually steers it through the corner. I've just got it on full lock and power on. She's controlling how much traction I'm getting through the corner. So it really is a teamwork with both of us.
Let's get back into the solo action now with highlights of races 2 and 3 for the Yamaha R3 Cup. And off the line, it was Tommy Edwards that got the jump on board bike number 71, with Jack Mahaffey right behind him on that JDS Moto machine, and Hunter Ford on the traditional yellow bike right in there as well. It was the usual protagonist at the front of this field, with Brock Pearson, his second round back from injury, also making a good fist of it to go with the leaders on board bike number 14 at the back of the grid. They'd opened up a pretty handy lead over the rest of the field, which was led by Corey Briffa in pack number 2. But these four riders carved each other up for the entire race distance, with Tommy Edwards, Mahaffey, Hunter Ford all taking turns at leading the race. That move from Hunter Ford in turn 2 was absolutely spectacular. Couldn't quite get around the outside of Tom Edwards as they went through turn 3 and had to take up the running in second place. Mahaffey hit the lead for his turn, leading the peloton as they made their way through turn 2 again, and eventually took the victory on board that JDS Moto Yamaha R3 by 0.277 of a second over Tommy Edwards, with Hunter Ford taking the final place on the podium and Brock Pearson taking 4th place, with Briffa taking 5th. Great battle here between Lockie Taylor on board the 151 machine, Ben Bramage on 24 and Taylor Ralph on 28. This one went all the way to the line, with Ben Bramage pulling out of the slipstream to take 6th position and his best result of the year on board bike number 24, ahead of Lockie Taylor, and Taylor Ralph a strong 8th position as well, continuing her run of good results in the class. Race 3 once again saw a great start from the front row of the grid, with Mahaffey and Tommy Edwards coming together as they made their way towards turn 1, with Corey Briffa on board bike number 23 up in the action early, battling with Lockie Taylor on board the 151 machine. You won't miss that one around Sydney Motorsport Park here this weekend. Ben Bramage on 24 had another strong ride on board his machine there, battling with Taylor once again, and Briffa taking the high line around turn 1. But back at the front, it was the usual protagonists leaning on each other as they made their way down into Motul Corner. It was Tommy Edwards on 71, Hunter Ford on bike number 20, and Jack Mahaffey, that sneaky move down the inside that we went from 3rd place to the lead. Didn't last very long though, and once again, coming into turn 9, the positions changed pretty much every corner around the Suzuki turn. Hunter Ford putting in another strong ride, sitting very strategically there in 2nd position as they make their way onto the Yamaha Motor Finance straight. These three had a 9-second lead over the rest of the field. And Jack Mahaffey, a cheeky look over the shoulder there as he went past Hunter Ford, took the lead down in towards turn 1. But as they came towards the end of the lap, Hunter Ford had managed to get a small lead over the rest of the field through the final complex of corners and out onto the Yamaha Motor Finance straight. He had a couple of bike length lead over Tom Edwards and Jack Mahaffey, and both of them managed to use the slipstream to draft their way past, Edwards taking the win from Mahaffey and Hunter Ford being relegated to 3rd position on the line. Well, no rest for the wicked. Those three riders have got back to the pits, changed bikes, and they're now out to take up their positions on the grid for the HI-TEC Batteries Supersport 300 class. Billy Van Erd starts from pole position, also leads the championship from Tommy Edwards, and Yanni Shaw also on that front row of the grid. Jack Mahaffey, Ollie Bayliss and Reid Batty round out row 2.
Brock Pearson starts in row 3. He's had a good weekend so far. Hunter Ford, what a weekend for him too. Max Croker from 9th position. Zach Levy came through for the win in one race earlier today. Corey Briffer from 11th. And Tom Bramich, what a ride from him too.
Lockie Taylor in 13th, Ben Bramich in 14th, and our reigning champion from last year, Brandon Demery, in 15th place. As Billy Van Erd gets the KTM into gear, we're in the starter's hands. Revs rise, and we're away. Good jump from Billy Van Erd. Tom Edwards went skywards, but luckily got the bike going forwards as well as they make their way down towards turn 1 for the first time. Croker's got a great start on board bike number 41. He's up into 3rd place ahead of Ollie Bayliss on board bike number 86, the first of our under 300 machines, as this massive field streams their way through turn 1 and down into turn 2 for the first time. Edwards in 2nd place behind Billy Van Erd. Oh, Jack Mahaffey's gone wide. Taylor's gone wide, Steve.
A few guys wide through Motul corner there, but we're used to seeing that in the start of these 300 races while these guys sort themselves out. It takes them till the end of the race to do that, in fact.
Yeah, Jack Mahaffey also got a pretty good start as well there on board the 37 machine, but Hunter Ford goes up the inside of Mahaffey down into Pirelli corner turn 4. So Hunter Ford is looking very businesslike very early on in this race, and Ollie Bayliss, as always, Steve, is in there in the mix and cannot be discounted.
No, absolutely. Hunter Ford's already been on the podium this weekend, and I'm sure he wants to get a win this time out if it's at all possible. But look at the gaggle of riders coming through the pack here. 35 starters, I think there is in total, maybe 37. It's an incredible amount of guys and girls out there that enjoy this Supersport high-tech class. Max Croker's made his way up to the front again. Good job by Max Croker.
Well, out of turn 9, it is the 71 machine of Tommy Edwards that leads from Max Croker. Billy Van Erd, Jack Mahaffey's also in that mix, and Yanni Shaw has done an unbelievable effort to try and make up as much distance as he can.
How close is that? Did you see that? Tommy Edwards just missed the back of Max Croker's bike in the change of direction. You couldn't fit anything between the front and wheel.
I saw you nearly jump off your seat in the commentary box, Steve Martin, as they make their way down the Yamaha Motor Finance straight to complete the first lap of this 9-lap journey. The reason these races are only 9 laps is because you can only keep this sort of action up for so long, and Billy Van Erd has now gone back into the lead ahead of Tommy Edwards, Max Croker and Jack Mahaffey in there in 5th position, 4th position at the moment. Ollie Bayliss is also well placed, as is Reid Batty, the man that could wrap up the championship for the under 300s in this race. He's now taken up the running in 5th position, but most importantly, leading the under 300 category.
Yeah, that's exactly where he needs to be. But you know what? He's in a lot of action at the moment, probably something that he should stay away from. But if he slowed down to get out of the action, he would be way back in the pack, because look at the amount of guys. There's 10 guys in 1 second at the moment out there. So it's a pretty incredible close racing.
Oh, Reid Batty just moved up another position as he went ahead of Max Croker as they made their way through turn 4 and up the hill to the HI-TEC Batteries corner. Still holding down position there. Hunter Ford trying to put a move on Max Croker as well. Ollie Bayliss is sitting in 7th position, but 2nd position in the under 300 category, doing a great job once again. Ollie Bayliss, who's already had a race win this weekend, Steve. But it's Mahaffey that hits the lead on the JDS Moto machine, bike number 37. down into Suzuki corner. It is Mahaffey. Oh, Billy Van Aert so wide as they come out of the hairpin.
There's a lot of talent in this under 300 class, and the man leading now, Billy Van Aert, or the boy I should say, is definitely one to watch for the future, as is the man in second position, Jack Mahaffey at the moment. But Reid Batty, he shouldn't be up there battling like he is. He's about to win a championship, but he wants to win with a victory by the look of the way he's riding today, Phil.
Well, he's certainly trying to keep the concentration up, Steve. He's in the middle of this pack, so concentration will be at its peak at the moment. He's sitting in third place. Looks like Tom Edwards tries to pull out from the slipstream behind him as they make their way down in towards turn 1. Oh, how wide were they going through turn 1? I think 3 and 4 abreast there at one stage as this field makes their way through turn 1 and down in towards turn 2. It is still Billy Van Aert leading from Tommy Edwards just, but once again, Steve Martin, there are more lines than you can poke a stick at through that double apex corner, and they were 3 and 4 abreast at one stage through that corner. But just having a look at Reid Batty, he looks pretty well positioned and riding pretty comfortably at the moment. They're in 4th position.
Yeah, well, you know, by the time you said 4th position, he's probably in 3rd or 2nd by now, the way that, and there he goes, up to 3rd. Oh! What a move! You don't do that to Jack Mahaffey and get away with it. What a brilliant...
How much lean angle did he carry into that corner? He almost had his elbow on the ground, Reid Batty, as they came into turn 4 area. Well, and he is really manhandling the Landscape Supplies BC Performance Junior Team machine, bike number 33, and he's up into 3rd.
We know he's slightly crazy because he got on the back of Troy Bayliss for a 2-up ride earlier on the weekend.
And we saw the pace that Troy Bayliss was going at. He's got the foot out too, has Reid Batty, as they come down into Suzuki corner, turn 9, trying to find his way past Tommy Edwards. You know, the man that's looking very ominous and menacing at the moment is the rider on bike number 20, Hunter Ford. He has got the elbows out, and he loves a good elbows out bashing with each other.
I shook Hunter Ford's hand on the podium earlier on. He finished in, I think it was 2nd or 3rd position. He wasn't that happy with 2nd or 3rd. Keep an eye on him. He's going for the win.
Another one to keep your eye on too is Brock Pearson on bike number 14. He's well and truly in the mix. And who can discount our race winner from the race earlier on this morning, Zach Levy, on board bike number 87. He's making his way forward as well. There he is, sitting just behind Ollie Bayliss on board bike number 86.
Yeah, Zach Levy not worried at the moment because that's where he was in the race earlier today. And he won from there, so I guess he's thinking, you know what, I'm going to sit back and let these guys sort themselves out and the last lap make my way through like he did last time round.
Well, once again, Reid Batty, someone has lit the fuse for Reid Batty because the way he came through turn 1 then, he was at so much lean angle on board the little Ninja 300. It was unbelievable. Mahaffey tries to go up the inside, can't carry the same corner speed through there as Reid Batty does. As Hunter Ford squeezes his way past the inside of Max Croker.
Oh, there's a couple down though. Who is that? There's 3 bikes down in that. One of them's a KTM too.
Let's start. Not any of the riders in our lead group, I don't think, as they pick up their bikes and try to get going again. Yeah, it looks like he's just got it all wrong and he's smashed into the back of the 21 machine. That's Seth Trump, I think.
No, that's Brooke. The 21's, yeah, Jared Brooke.
They'll be coming round to complete 8 laps at the end of this lap, so there will be only one more 3.93 kilometre lap of the Sydney Motorsport Park circuit to go. Currently, it is Billy Van Aert that leads from Jack Mahaffey and Hunter Ford.
Yanni Shaw is somewhere in that group too, so keep an eye out for Yanni Shaw. He was a podium getter last time out.
And also took his first win on board that BC Performance Kawasaki Ninja here this weekend at his home circuit. As they come round onto the straight now, it is Billy Van Aert tucked in behind the screen of that KTM RC390 with Jack Mahaffey on the JDS Moto machine right behind. Also looks like they've opened up a small gap over the Tom Edwards, Hunter Ford, Reid Batty battle as well, with the man to keep your eye on at the moment really is the champion in the R3 Cup from last year, Zach Levy, on board bike number 87, as Billy Van Aert just goes across the front of Jack Mahaffey there. Very lucky to take out, not take out the Victorian's front wheel, as Mahaffey comes back strongly on the inside. Bike number 37. He's been able to get down the inside there and hold a good strong line through Motul corner turn 2 and then drive well out of turn 3, the sharp corner that has bitten a lot of people again this weekend, and over the hill down in towards turn 4. Reid Batty is now up into 3rd position on board bike number 33. Can win the championship here this weekend, and at the moment is looking extremely strong to do so. Tom Edwards tries to come back on the inside, although not quite close enough, and Max Croker, the extremely tall rider on board bike number 41, also placed very well on board his KTM, with Brock Pearson having another strong ride. Can't believe this is only his second return back, or second round back after the extreme injuries that caused him to sit out the first part of the year. Down into the YMI corner and the turn 9 hairpin now.
Look at Billy Van Aert though in second position at the moment. He's really got that thing moving around. He's trying everything that he can to catch up to the man in front, Jack Mahaffey, on the number 37 Yamaha R3.
Well, coming into this round, Steve, I think there was about 7 points that covered the top 5 or 6 in the championship. So it is going to be extremely close as they leave here, because we've seen different winners in every different race so far. As Mahaffey comes onto the start-finish straight, he looks like he will take the win. Billy Van Aert should take second position on the road. Mahaffey's swerving all over the track, trying to diffuse the slipstream, but he'll take a comfortable win over Billy Van Aert. Tommy Edwards finishes in third position. Brock Pearson gets up to fourth place on board bike number 14. A great last lap from him. Reed Batty will take the win in the under 300 category, and that means that Reed Batty will be the HI-TEC Batteries Supersport 300 or under 300 champion for 2017. Zach Levy finishes in 6th. Max Croker in 7th. Hunter 14 in 8th, Tom Bramage in 9th, and Yanni Shaw will round out the top 10 and take second place in the under 300s as well, with unfortunately Ollie Bayliss looked like he had some sort of technical problem with the Cube Racing Kawasaki and pulled up on the start of the second last lap.
Bike was sliding everywhere. Big thank you to the boys for the awesome competition. Yeah, a massive thank you. This wouldn't be possible without James from Eastern Security Doors, also JLT Sport, and all my supporters watching at home. Thanks.
It has been an extreme weekend here at Sydney Motorsport Park for the 300 Supersport category. Billy Van Aert emerges in the championship lead with 276 points, ahead of Zach Levy and Jack Mahaffey on 262, tied with Tom Edwards, and leader coming into this round, Tom Bramage, back to 5th place. Reed Batty is the 2017 HI-TEC Batteries under 300 Supersport champion. Yanni Shaw sits in 2nd place, and Drew Sells has moved his way up into 3rd, just ahead of Ollie Bayliss. Stay tuned, because coming up after this break is the second race for the YMI Superbike class.
Fair to say that most riders in ASBK have had their fair share of ups and downs. Crew Halliday, well, he has his very own story to tell. A lot of his hard work is certainly paying off, as he collected his very first win for the 2017 season in Morgan Park.
Crew Halliday is looking ominous right behind our championship number 1 at the moment. There goes Crew Halliday. He's gone around the outside of Troy Herfoss. Oh, that is an audacious manoeuvre from Crew Halliday.
Everyone wants to finish first, so do I, but you know, it's still possible, but I think it's a long reach, like long points gap, but you know, anything can happen. The front riders can make mistakes, as you see from last round, and we just need to stay on the bike and stay consistent. I think it's not impossible to get first, but we would like to get top 3. We have definitely clawed ourselves back into the points a little bit, but you know, it's still a big deficit. We need luck to go our way, but yeah, we're just trying to finish every race now as high as we can and just see what happens at the end of the year.
Crew Halliday is out of the corner. He's heading for victory. His first of 2017. Crew Halliday takes the win. Celebration strong.
The hardships to the journey would be, you know, honestly, just the budgeting. You know, you crashed a factory bike when you're a factory rider, and you did feel bad, but you knew you had factory backing for those guys, and they had full-time jobs that could fix the bike, and you know, it's going to be well prepared for the next time. Now, when you crash a bike when you're privateer, you automatically think, am I going to be able to make for the next round? You know, backing it by ourselves. We do have a fair few sponsors, but we still funded it heavily by ourselves as well. Goals for 2018, it would be certainly a line back up in the grid. If not in a factory ride, that would be the ultimate goal, but hopefully we can get some big sponsors put together next year if we've got to do it ourselves, and you know, do what we did this year. Just now that we've got bikes and parts and that, we can start the year off a bit stronger if we are privateer again. But you know, I just need to finish out this year stronger, see if we can get a ride for next year. If not, try get some sponsors together and go racing again.
Well, race 2 at the last few rounds of the 2017 championship have seen the championship positions take massive changes. What will happen here in the second and final race at Sydney Motorsport Park? There's only 2 more races left in the championship after the completion of this round. Let's go down to the grid and hear from our top Superbike riders there with Emma and Tess.
Down here with Robbie Bugden. Robbie, qualifying not ideal for you. I know 11th position isn't where you want to be. Obviously the start's crucial.
Without a doubt, yeah. We didn't quite nail it yesterday, and you know, that certainly hurt us in this morning's race. But we know our race pace is good on the Kawasaki ZX10. We you know, we can run the same times. We just need to get through those early laps nice and clean, and yeah, that's our plan for this one, and then get out and make a race of it.
Calvin was saying yesterday that grip was a bit of an issue. Was that still the issue for race 1 as well?
No, I think we've got the Kawasaki going pretty well. Like I say, our race pace is fairly solid, so yeah, we just need to get through those first few laps nice and clean. And you know, if you know, it's difficult because you know, this is such a tough field and everyone's so tight. But I might just have to be a little bit rude in the first couple of laps and you know, get on that front group.
Good luck, Robbie.
Thank you.
A great win last round at Morgan Park. Talk us through, how have you felt through the season so far?
You know, it hasn't been really the best season for us. You know, Phillip Island was good, then we had a bad round at Wakefield, but you know, we bounced back since then, and you know, come to a home race here, and we are struggling. I'm not going to lie about that. You know, we struggled with tyre degradation in that that last race. You know, the tyre dropped right off, so you know, we've come up with some traction control. So hopefully that can get us through the end of the race. But you know, these guys are pushing such a hard pace. I'm trying to ride 100%, just try to stay with them. And yeah, it's just the pace is really hot this week, and it's good to see.
All right, well, all the best. Thanks, crew. Back to you, Em.
Kyle Buckley returning from injury this weekend. Welcome back to the grid.
Yeah, thanks, Dad. Yeah, first weekend back since my injury in Darwin where I broke my leg. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting a better start than I did in the first one, and hopefully running with the guys in front of me. So see how we go.
Besides the injury, how have you rated your overall year?
My year's been pretty good up until obviously I broke my leg. I was leading the rookie championship, so I was pretty happy with that. And yeah, I mean, I've dropped back a little bit in the standings now, but I think that I can still have a good next half of the year. So looking forward to that.
Go get him.
Great to see Kyle Buckley back from injury and on board that BC Performance Kawasaki. This massive field here is getting ready for Superbike race number 2 now. Robbie Bugden, what can he do here in this second race to get himself back into the top 3 in the championship battle? Brian Starring has also shown a lot of pace this weekend here, but has so far gone unrewarded. Josh Waters will start from pole position, joined on the front row of the grid by Wayne Maxwell and Glenn Allerton. Second row, Brian Starring on board the Crank Protein Honda. Troy Herfoss, his teammate, right behind in position number 5 with Crew Halliday, our pole man last time out, rounding out the second row of the grid. Row 3 will be Daniel Fowles in 7th. Corey Turner, another impressive performance this weekend from the young man in his second outing on board the Desmo Sport Ducati in 8th. And Matt Walters, one of his best qualified performances for the year in 9th. Row 4 will be Josh Hook on board the McMartin Ducati. Robbie Bugden and Michael Blair having a strong performance this weekend as well, the man from the Central Coast. Row 5, Matt Harding, Al Phillis and Kyle Buckley. Row 6, Bo Beaton, Troy Gunther and Sloane Frost. Row 7, great to see Lachlan Eppers back on the Superbike, Mitch Levy and Adam Senior. Row 8 will be Brendan McIntyre in 22nd. 23rd place Trent Gibson, and Aidan Coote rounds out the row with row 9 Joel Rhodes, Nathan Spiteri and Rowan Smith, and the 10th and final row Hamish McMurray and Ashley Fleming on board his Aprilia. Craig McMartin has waved the magical wand over Josh Hook's number 16 Panigale, and he's back out there. We're in the starter's hands, ready for a start. The revs rise, and we're racing. Great start once again from Brian Starring from the second row of the grid. He's up past the inside of Glenn Allerton, I think, and he'll go round the outside of Glenn Allerton, actually past Wayne Maxwell and around the outside of Glenn Allerton to take up the running in second position. And whatever was wrong with his bike in the first one, he's put that to the back of his mind.
Look at Wayne Maxwell. That's the best start we've seen him have in a long, long time. Watch out for Wayne Maxwell in this race.
Yeah, he's only back to 4th position and right behind his teammate Glenn Allerton. What was he in the first race? He was back to 7th or 8th.
He was way back. This is the best start he's had in a long, long time. But once again, it's all Josh Waters out front, Starring in second place at the moment on the Honda.
Well, you know Josh Waters is good off the start. Suzuki's have also been traditionally good off the start as well, as this massive field of Superbikes stream their way through. There's still Waters leading, but Starring is looking extremely keen. And as Troy Herfoss said, Brian has been the pace setter for the Clean Protein Honda team this weekend. He's just been trying to follow his teammates' lead.
Well, Brian's pretty hungry at the moment too. He hasn't had the best results lately. And the way that he's hanging on to the back of the Suzuki at the moment, I think that Josh Waters might have a bit of competition on his hands this time round. Maxwell.
And Herfoss squeezed it up the inside of Daniel Falzon into turn 9. There was no room through there, but Troy Herfoss made some. He only needs 3.5 inches to get that front wheel through, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, well, the big problem for Herfoss at the moment is this man, Wayne Maxwell. He needs to be in front of him if he's got any chance of leading, taking over the lead of the championship at the end of this race.
Well, as they come onto the Yamaha Motor Finance straight for the first time, it is Josh Waters leading from Brian Starling. Wayne Maxwell and Glenn Allison holding down third and fourth position, but Troy Herfoss closing in on fifth position at the moment. He's done well on the first lap to get past the very rapid Caterpillar Yamaha of Daniel Falzon. The next rider through after Falzon is Josh Rook on board that Rick Martin Ducati. Then it's Drew Halliday. Matt Walters into ninth. He's had a good start as well. And Corey Turner rounds out the top 10 on board that fluoro orange Ducati, Desmo Sport Ducati with the Kawasaki of Robbie Bugden right behind.
I can see Troy Herfoss now. If you have a look at him, he's on the back of Allen. He's desperate to try and find a way through because the front bunch are getting away. Look at the handlebars moving around on Brian Starling's bike.
But you also see the corner speed that Troy Herfoss was able to carry out of Pirelli corner turn 4 and through turn 5.
Look at him go. How loose.
But how desperate was he to try and get past Allison because he could see the front guys getting away?
Well, he's done it. He has to do it. This is the time. No point holding back now when you're second in the championship with one race moving to go.
But we've also seen in race number 1, Steve, how fast Glenn Allison's Yamaha is down
wide.
the front straight. So he's going to have to do it all again now as Troy Herfoss. He managed to just stay ahead of Daniel Falzon as they came through the hairpin turn 9 and drive their way up the short straight towards the Kawasaki corner. But it is this man, once again, Josh Waters, that leads the race. Let's have a replay now of the desperation of Herfoss as he just shoved it down the inside, skating on the edge of adhesion there for Troy Herfoss.
Look at how loose both of those Hondas are under brakes. But it looks like one of the Yamahas has gone through on Brian Starling now. Wayne Maxwell up in the second position. What a great move by him. And Maxwell sets the fastest lap of the race at 29.7, which is a new lap record.
I think that was faster than Josh Waters by 0.2 of a second in the first race. So Maxwell is all business on the first flying lap of race 2.
Yeah, the old lap record was set back in 2013, 29.8 by Robbie Bugden. Maxwell!
Wayne Maxwell is down. He's at the entry to turn 2.
The championship leader, it looks like he's lost the front there.
So the good news is that Wayne looks like he's standing up, but I think he's a little bit groggy after that big crash down there. I think he may have, he may have just hit his head, but he's just trying to get over the fence there so he doesn't cause a red flag. But is that turn 2? Just couldn't quite make out where it was.
Oh, that's turn 3. Yeah, through Shark Corner. He's lost the front end there. And he's gone in.
He's gone in very heavy into the tyre wall there, has Wayne Maxwell. Let's hope that he's okay.
Yeah,
but as we've seen on more than one occasion this year, championship leader having a crash and the championship all changed once again.
Yeah, but that just goes to show you how these guys are giving it everything they've got. And that's put Starring back in the second position and Allerton a chance at a podium.
Well, it's also moved Troy Herfoss up one further position. He would have seen that as well because it happened ahead of him on the track.
Daniel Falzon's going a lot better this time too. He fell back in race 1, but there's rumours. I think he might have chosen a softer tyre this time round, put the SC0 Pirelli tyre on the back of that bike, and it looks like it's working for him.
Well, we know a couple of the riders that had the SC0 in at the first race said that it started to drop off a little bit towards the end of the race. And if they stay as they are now, with Herfoss sitting there in 4th position, the championship will be 5 points difference between Troy Herfoss and our race leader, Josh Waters.
Well, that's what we said at the start of the weekend. You weren't even talking about Josh Waters winning this championship, but how things change.
Well, Glenn Allerton is doing everything he possibly can to try and hold out a desperate Troy Herfoss. You can see Herfoss runs into the corner very quick, but the Honda got great drive out of that corner. He desperately wants to get past Allerton to be able to challenge now his teammate Brian Starling, who looks to be closing in on our race leader, Josh Waters.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of rear wheel spin coming off of the Honda at the moment. He's really riding the wheels off that thing is Troy Herfoss, trying everything that he can to get by Glenn Allerton. And what a ride from Allerton. This is fabulous by him. Exactly what he needs to be doing out there right now. He's proved he's competitive. He's back. He's not shy at sliding around easy.
Well, there's Joshua McKennick and younger brother Brody giving him the hurry up as they come through to complete 4 laps. A 1:30.58 for Josh Waters, a 1:30.532 for Brian Starring. So Starring was the fastest man on track out of the top 10 on that last lap. In fact, Waters and Starring, the only riders in the 130s on that last lap. Everybody else in the mid to high 131s.
Tell you what, Falzon wants a bit of this too. He can sniff another podium coming on. Allerton, of course, at the moment, that is your last podium position right there. So these two guys behind are both pretty hungry to get past Glenn Allerton.
Yeah, but you've got to wake up pretty early in the morning and get the elbows out if you want to get past Glenn Allerton. Now that he's starting to get a little bit more fitness back, Herfoss just shoves it up the inside of Allerton as they went through YMI corner. Let's hope they all made it safely through that corner. Allerton comes back strong on the brakes as they come down into HI-TEC Batteries. Couldn't quite get the job done. Has his drive been compromised and Falzon able to get past?
Yeah, it looked like Falzon was definitely looking for a line up the inside there into YMI Hill, but he wasn't able to do it this lap. But you know what? Falzon's a quick learner. He's going up the inside.
He's just they're all wide. Falzon has gone from 5th up to 3rd place in one move because they all ran wide going into turn 9. Herfoss has come back on the drive out of the corner. He was able to get the bike squared up and turned off. You said it before, Steve. This is happening because everyone is pushing past the limit that they can actually go safely.
Yep, they're definitely all trying it. Let's have another look at that. Everyone's gone
in wide.
Yeah, everyone's wide. Everyone's wide. Herfoss has been able to cut back through though, get on the gas and luckily get back in front of Falzon. But Falzon's Yamaha, look at the speed of that thing. The Caterpillar bike straight through into 3rd position. What a great move by Daniel Falzon when you consider the luck that he had last time out at Morgan Park.
Well, Falzon back up now into 3rd position in this battle for the last place on the podium. Herfoss down the inside. Can he get it stopped and turned? No, that's the one thing that he's having trouble with all race or all day so far is trying to get the bike stopped and turned through the middle of the corner at turn 2.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, he's so deep is Troy Herfoss into turn 2 there, the Motul corner. He really is late on the brakes. There is a couple of ways through that corner and he's trying every which way he can.
And you can be guaranteed he's not going to start braking earlier to get into that corner a little bit more safely either. He's going to keep pushing the limits. Every opportunity is Troy Herfoss. And look, he's closed back in on Daniel Falzon now as they come down into the HI-TEC Batteries corner as Joshua closes in on Drew Halliday on board bike number 65 in the battle for 7th and 6th positions.
Look at that, absolute daylight between the two out front and the ensuing pack with Falzon on the number 25 Caterpillar machine doing a good job now. Looks like he might have consolidated that position for a couple of minutes. Let's head back down to M with an update.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Just down here with John at Yamaha from Wayne's team. Obviously, bad luck. Did you see what happened?
No, I didn't, but I've heard that Wayne has come off and we've just seen him walk back in the pits, so it looks like he's okay. He was holding his shoulder and we were concerned that perhaps he had broken his collarbone. Obviously he's disappointed now. I guess so are the rest of the team. It's been a long, hard year and had some pretty good events, but I wouldn't call today one of them. Thank you.
Tough luck.
Holy smoke, did you see that? The amount of smoke coming off the back of Allerton's rear tyre there was absolutely incredible.
And it was that drive out of the final corner where he smoked it up. There was more smoke than a Rastafarian Christmas party, and he's managed to get the drive down the inside of Troy Herfoss and move back up into 4th position now. And in actual fact, Glenn Allerton is looking stronger and stronger as these laps go on. His last lap was a 1:30.781. He was faster than Troy Herfoss and Daniel Falzon on the last lap. So Allerton is really trying to push his way forward.
We've had a crasher. Lachlan Epps has crashed out at turn 9. The rider's up there as well. So unfortunately, that's the end of his debut weekend for the Next Gen team on the S1000RR.
And I think just having a look at it there through Suzuki Corner, that's the corner that's been catching a lot of people out this weekend, hasn't it, Steve? We saw on the last lap, Falzon, Allerton and Troy Herfoss all running wide there into that corner. And I think it's just a sign of the desperation of these riders as they vie for points now in the third last race of the year.
This track also, it's very particular. Watch the rear end there of Allerton's machine. No smoke that time, but the time before it was unbelievable. I thought it was on fire. But this track itself is it's incredible. You really do have to join the dots up as a rider to be able to get the most out of it and get those really fast lap times. You can't afford to make any mistakes here or the lap times just go away from you.
Well, Josh Waters continues to lead. 2.199 seconds is the lead. And on the last lap, Brian Starring was a tenth faster than Josh Waters. Or actually not quite a tenth faster as they once again have a bit of a coming together. Three bikes wide through there. Oh, Allerton and Herfoss. There's a bit of blue paint on Troy Herfoss's Crank Protein Honda, and there's a bit of red paint on board Yamaha, the Yamaha of Glenn Allerton.
Well, there's a bit more blue paint coming because look who's there. Crew Halliday has joined the party, and Josh Hook, who I think, I just caught a glimpse of it, he may have had a jump start, but Josh Hook is there to play as well.
Well, there's going to be some fluoro yellow if Crew Halliday gets in on the act as well, with Allerton now hitting the lead up into third place ahead of Daniel Falzon. And we said that Glenn Allerton was looking incredibly racy. I don't think he's worried about the shoulder injury at all now. It is all running on adrenaline, pure adrenaline for Glenn Allerton at the moment as he comes down into Suzuki Corner, leading this now 5-bike battle for the last place on the podium.
Yeah, and 5 into 1 place. Doesn't go, does it, Phil? So things are going to get pretty exciting in the next 6 laps.
Well, through the final corners now. Watch the back end of Glenn Allerton. Will he get the tyre smoking like he did before? You can see the visible smoke coming off the back of bike number 14, the Yamaha Racing Team machine. Keeps it pretty clean as they come out onto the straight. The speed of Allerton's Yamaha has not been questioned this weekend. Falzon's on a similar bike. Look at Drew Halliday.
Halliday's through now, I think.
He tried hard. I don't think he was able to get Troy Herfoss just on the run into the corner. Herfoss just able to hold him out.
Let's head down to the pits. I think M might be with Wayne Maxwell.
Yeah, he's been nice enough to chat to us, even though he looked like he was limping. Feeling okay?
Yeah, not too bad. Just really disappointed for the guys, and you know, a lot of work goes in, and yeah, to set the fastest lap and feel like I was in control, and then next thing I was on the ground. You know, the little bit of a different tyre choice and the bike's attitude was a bit different, just caught me out. But there's no one to blame myself, and yeah, really sorry to the guys at Yamaha, and you know, it's hard to get back from this one.
Still 1 round to go. Rest up.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a pretty hard luck for Wayne. He'd done everything right up until then. A split-second change of tyre, just got caught out, and it's really affected his championship year. But never say never, because as we've seen, this championship can turn on its head at any minute.
Josh Waters leading from Brian Starring. This battle is for the final place on the podium. Join us after this break to see who will take out that final step. Well, Allerton continues to lead over Herfoss, Falzon, Crew Halliday. Josh Hook is now ahead. Trying to get ahead of Crew Halliday, but just holding out Corey Turner, who's closed up considerably over the last couple of laps. And Robbie Bugden is also coming to the party, and Michael Blair not too far behind either, Steve.
Yeah, and I know what Corey Turner's thinking right now, where to start. He's got a lot of overtaking to do and not much time to do it.
Well, and also he wants to finish as the first Ducati on the road as well. And of course, these little things are all so important for these riders as Allerton drives up the hill now towards turn 7. Herfoss comes up the inside, puts another move on Allerton, just like he did on the earlier laps of this race. So the reigning champion moves back into position number 3 and will take up the extra championship point for the move from position 3 to 4, or 4 to 3.
I'll tell you what though, Herfoss has to do everything he can now to get a bit of daylight between himself and Allerton, because if not, he's going to get slipstream. Crew Halliday's gone through now, gone through on 2 or 3 guys there, and he's put himself up into a position. Looks like that traction control that he changed worked.
And also Josh Hook got ahead of Daniel Falzon as well, but he has got the jump start penalty, and it will be applied at the end of the race. Brian Starring has also closed Josh Waters' lead down to 1.4 seconds as they went through intermediate number 2. He was 0.2 of a second faster on the last lap, as we see a replay of Troy Herfoss just put a clinical manoeuvre on Glenn Allerton there as they made their way through the HI-TEC Batteries corner. That was a high-tech move.
It was a high-tech move. He got great drive too, better drive than Allerton out of the corner, but once again, it looks like Allerton's made his way back to the front.
Well, as we said, Allerton's Yamaha is very fast in a straight line, and he does seem to get excellent drive off of turn 12 and onto the Yamaha Motor Finance straight. He also manages to hold an excellent line through turn 2 and hold out these guys past the scene of his teammate Wayne Maxwell's a big crash at the exit of turn 3. Here's a replay now of Allison just using the slipstream and the power of that Yamaha R1 to come down the inside and get that great run through turn 1.
And Herfoss back again, up the inside into YMI corner, up the hill he goes. And now he's got to try and do what we said last time, get as much room as he can. He nearly had enough last time, but he's got a little bit of extra space. He's already pulled out a couple of bike lengths here. Can he do it? There's a lot of pressure on his shoulders at the moment.
We've now got a 7-bike freight train battling it out for the last place on the podium, and Michael Blair is not too far away. And the more these riders carve each other up in their desperation to try and get that last podium position, the more that Michael Blair will close down. Currently it is Troy Herfoss in 3rd position in this race with Allerton and Crew Halliday. Looking increasingly desperate behind now is Crew Halliday as he tries to find a way past his former factory teammate. Of course, Crew Halliday, now one of our leading Yamaha privateers.
The guy in 9th position, Robbie Bugden, is the fastest man in this group quite significantly. He's caught the group up now, so keep an eye on Robbie Bugden. Will he make a similar move to Crew Halliday did earlier on?
Well, and if they keep doing this, Michael Blair will be on the back of the group very shortly too. Let's have a look at Troy Herfoss as he comes through turn 1 and down into the all-important turn 2. Do you see Crew Halliday through turn 1? He had the back end hanging out. Hook is on the outside. Can Crew Halliday get down the inside? I think he does. Just get through there. Colin Turner's run wide at the entry into turn 2. Michael Blair's moved up one further position.
Look at Josh. Hook didn't even use the track there. He went on the other side, on the inside. I think he must have been half on the dirt.
It's a term man on a mission comes to mind as we look at Josh Hook now trying to push his way forward in this group of riders. On board that McMartin Panigale. Take it. Oh, Daniel Falzen's gone down. The Caterpillar Yamaha has gone skating across through the gravel trap and into the tyre wall. So Falzen is down. That essentially takes championship points away from him. He was sitting in 7th place and would have finished this round on 200 points if he had him, and still been in with a chance at the championship. I think that may be his championship done and dusted there. As we see, he just lost the front coming into the YMI corner.
Yeah, just a simple on the brake too hard. Just asked too much of that Pirelli front tyre on that machine, and that's the end of his day, unfortunately, for Daniel Falzon.
Well, we're on lap 12 of 14, so there are still 2 more laps to go, Steve. We've lost a couple of our high-profile runners. Wayne Maxwell has crashed out at turn 3. Daniel Falzon at turn 5. Josh Waters currently leads by 1.6 seconds. He turned it around to the tune of 0.7 of a second on the last lap over Brian Starry. And as he starts the 13th lap of this 14-lap race, he has a 1.6 second lead. But the real focus at the moment is on this battle for championship points and the last place on the podium, Allison. Oh, I thought he was going to go down the inside there, but Herfoss runs in very deep into turn 2, but most importantly, stays on a nice tight line.
Keep an eye on Crew Halliday. He's definitely in a position at the moment where he's looking pretty strong. He's looking for a way past these guys. I honestly believe that we haven't seen the last of him yet in this race.
Well, of course, Josh Hook is there just behind Crew Halliday on bike number 16. He does have a jump start penalty. He won't care one iota about that because he just wants to get past and finish up the order as far as he can. And Robbie Bugden, was that Allerton? Allerton was all out of shape and out of the seat as they came up the hill. Crew Halliday tries to go around the
Halliday's
outside.
wide.
Gets pushed wide by Glenn Allerton, who had the better track position. And Robbie Bugden is now up the inside of Crew Halliday.
Yep, thank you very much, he says. Made that pass nice and easy.
Well, they're coming up onto some back markers now. Nathan Spiteri on bike number 78 is the first one. They'll have to negotiate. I think Troy Herfoss probably got the raw end of the pineapple there as they came through Suzuki corner turn 9. He had to slow up considerably to maintain the track position.
He did okay. He's done pretty well there. Allerton's had to really try and struggle to get through, but he's got through okay, nice and clean. Back markers out of the way. That's good to see. Herfoss is, I think he might have done all right out of that.
I think he has done because he's come out of that section with a bigger lead than what he went into it as they come down the Yamaha Motor Finance straight now with Herfoss having a pretty handy lead over Glenn Allerton. Josh Hook is up the inside of Allerton, is he? Allerton tries to go around the outside and squeezes Hook to the inside of the circuit. Well, I don't think Glenn Allerton actually knew that Josh Hook was so close on him as they went through that turn 1 area.
Well, Hook's gone in hot. He's gone in really hot out wide, but he holds it. He pulls it back in. Nice route. But look at Bugden now. Bugden right on the back of these two.
Well, the 5 times New Zealand Superbike champion Robbie Bugden has not given up hope of getting as far forward and getting as many championship points as he possibly can. He will finish this round on 200 points if he stays in that position, but he is looking increasingly desperate to try and get past, and we know how fast that BC Performance Kawasaki is in a straight line. Hook looks to be
he's got the drive.
Looks to to be struggling a little bit with traction, doesn't he?
Yeah, he certainly does. He's had to ride through the pack, of course, as Josh Hook, and Bugden's his smooth style's working well with his Dunlop shot machine. He's doing a very good job out there as Robbie Bugden.
Bo Beaton's also moved himself up into the top 10 as well on board bike number 86, the Racer's Edge Performance Bridgestone Panigale. So Bo Beaton waving the Bridgestone flag out there at the moment. Herfoss still leads, only just though from Glen Allerton, with Josh Hook right on the tail of board bike number 14. But on board now with Josh Waters as he comes to the line on board the Suzuki X-Star machine. Across the line, there's his mum Julie, she gives him a great cheer. Josh Waters on the X-Star Suzuki, perfect weekend. Pole position, his first of the year, and his double race win, following on from that magnificent performance at Hidden Valley in Darwin. Confirmation of your results, Josh Waters takes his second double win of the season. Brian Starring, his weekend-long pace has been rewarded with a fine second place, and Troy Herfoss rounds out the top three on the second of the Crank Protein Hondas. Good return to form for Glen Allerton too at his home round, taking out fourth position in race number 2. Robbie Bugden, Crew Halliday. Michael Blair took 7th, his best result of the season so far. Corey Turner in 8th. Josh Hook back to 9th after the application of that jump start penalty, and Al Phillips just drafted Bo Beaton on the line for 10th.
I am here with Julie. Julie, what a fantastic win.
Oh, absolutely unbelievable. I'm really happy for Brian as well. That was so good after what happened to him this morning. But yeah, Josh, outstanding. Super awesome.
It must be stressful being Josh's mum. Did you expect 2 wins in one day?
Oh, I thought this morning he had such a good run that it's a good confidence boost going into the second race. So yeah, got the start and off he went.
He did so well. Jeff, team manager, you must be a happy man right now.
Couldn't be happier. 2 wins. Josh absolutely delivered. What a championship now. We're actually in for a chance for the championship. Who would have thought? And Phillip Island just means so much. So now for our crew chief Phil and Brody, our head mechanic, it's time to revisit the bike and let's get some more testing in and hopefully we can do so well in our first year. You never know.
I missed the jump with the guys at the front, and when I did pass Glenn for 4th, there was a small opportunity I could maybe gain on the leaders, but they were going really fast and I made a small mistake in a turn 9, ran wide, and Glenn's always such a hard fighter, and I knew that he would fight me for every corner on the track, and unfortunately I got stuck in that battle, and I wasn't fast enough to escape. So I just want to say a big thank you to the team, because I've had a terrible weekend up until the races, and yeah, they proved just how good they are. So really big congratulations to the team.
Big thanks to Team Honda and the Cranked Protein Honda CBR 1000 SP2. Yeah, we deserved the result. We've deserved the result for a long time now, and things haven't been going our way. So anyway, I hope this is the start of a bit of momentum for us. Yeah, really big credit for the team for putting everything back together and turning it all around to give me a good race bike for race 2 then. And yeah, I hope to make an impact where I can and get some race wins before the year's over.
That race was definitely a lot harder. Brian just wouldn't give up. So yeah, congrats to him, congrats to Troy. I hope Wayne's all right. But yeah, huge thanks to my team Suzuki X-Star Australia, and yeah, awesome weekend, pole and 2 wins.
After another topsy-turvy weekend, it is Troy Herfoss that leads the championship by 6 points from Josh Waters in second, and Wayne Maxwell still not out of it, only 15 points behind in third, and Robbie Bugden still in with an outside chance, 25 points behind in fourth. 1 round, 2 races, 51 points up for grabs. Who will come out on top after Phillip Island?
I just want to remind you all of some fantastic Motorcycling Australia events coming up. Make sure you head to ma.org.au for more information. Head to asbk.com.au for more info on that. We want to see you at the next round too. It is down to the wire, our last round on the calendar at Phillip Island. That is the 6th to the 8th of October. We cannot wait to see you again. Thank you to you all at home for watching. See you next time.